Hey friends, it's Emily from Planned and Planted back with a YouTube video for you guys today. Today I'm going to be setting up my reading bullet journal for September. I'm going to be using this monthly planning kit that I got from Archer and Olive called Golden Hour today. There's a bunch of like sunflowers and bees, and there's some colored paper that come with it. And I'm from Kansas, and our home flower, our state flower, is a sunflower. So I am obsessed with this kit. When I saw it, I bought it so fast, and it is unfortunately sold out right now, but they do have a bunch of other planning kits. And if you want one, you can use my code planned and planted 10 for 10% off. So for today's plan with me video, I tried not to edit out too much, like pauses and things in between, because I really don't have a solid idea when I'm going into this what exactly it's going to look like. So I want you guys to just kind of see my creative process and how I add things and then take it away later, and I mess up and I fix it later, because that's all part of the creative process. These ideas don't just pop up in my brain fully formed. I usually just start with one idea. Like for this, I knew I wanted to use one of the bigger stickers on one of the pieces of colored paper, but I just didn't know exactly what it was going to look like. So I just sit down, I get my supplies, and I start, and we go from there. So I got my sticker on the paper, got it cut, got the corners clipped, and I'm starting to think that maybe I want like the darker color on the background to add like a little bit of a pop, but I'm not sure. I'm taking some time. Like, I know I want this one to be kind of like the centerpiece of this cover page, but I just can't decide if I for sure want that background piece and where, like, with the position of it. So I'm like, let me just go ahead and cut this piece, and then we'll kind of play around with it visually and see what works. So I'm cutting the piece to about the same size as the green one, and vacuuming up the scraps. And I finally decided that I want it a little bit offset to the like top and the left, so it's kind of this like shadowy effect. I do have most of my journaling supplies linked in the description below on my Amazon storefront. If you see something I'm using here that you're curious about but you can't find it in the storefront, just let me know in the comments and I will try to grab that link for you. Get that link for you. Now that I have the main focus of this cover page placed, I'm going in with some of this golden hexagonal washi tape that I've had forever, and it looks like honeycomb, so I knew it would be perfect for this theme. And then I'm taking some more of the washi tape from that monthly kit with some sunflowers and bees on it to add a little more decoration to the page. I'm also adding in some greenery and bee like stickers, and I have like serious sticker placement anxiety. I just never know exactly where I want them to go, and so you can see I kind of like moved around the page a little bit, and I actually completely changed the position of it a little bit later, but that's, like I said, that's part of the process. You just have to do something, and if you don't like it, then figure that out when the time comes. Like, I moved this little sticker around so much, and I end up deciding I don't like it anywhere, so I just put it back on the sticker page. I really love doing ombre color dots on pages these days, so I have these yellow stickers also from Archer and Olive. I knew I wanted to put those on the page somewhere, so I'm kind of doing like a asymmetrical kind of dots on the side. And then I officially decided that I do not like where I placed those little bee and greenery stickers. It just looks a little bit too busy right on top of the washi tape, so I decided to fill in some of the blank space around the edges to kind of finalize this like asymmetrical mirror image a little bit. So like a bee in the top right and the bottom left, and then the little greenery stickers kind of like right below and above the washi tape on opposite sides. I think that it helps the colors stay a little bit more balanced throughout the whole design, and it also keeps things from getting a little bit too busy and kind of fills in some of that extra space. And then I'm just adding some little dotted dashes behind the bees to signify their little swirly little flight paths. I decided to use some letter stamps for the title because it's just like this cool old-timey vibe that I love, and it's a little lopsided. Like, it's not very centered, and at this point in time, I just kind of decide to go with it. I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. I can do it. I'm not gonna let it bother me that much. I added in some washi tapes. I have this stencil that came with the kit with these little hexagons that I'm like thinking about adding, but then I decided against it. And now I said, actually, I really don't like that this is lopsided, so I'm gonna cover it up. So I rip off a piece of like craft paper and add the letters again. And again, I make them lopsided, but luckily since it's a piece of paper, I can just rip off the side of it to make it actually centered. And once I tape this title in, I have decided, yeah, this is looking pretty good. I feel pretty solid with where this is. So now we are going to move on to the next page, which is going to be my calendar for the month and my reading tracker. I did sketch this part out in advance just because it takes a lot of coordination to make sure that you don't mess up. So the boxes that I use for this calendar, I think are 5 dots across and then 6 up and down, or maybe 5 up and down and 6 across. No, I think it's 6 up and down and 5 across. And this reading tracker, I basically just used it to visually see how long it takes me to read each book throughout the month, and I also use it to track any new releases that I have that I'm excited for the month, and library books that I have due. And sometimes I also add a TBR. I am a chronic mood reader, so I don't usually stick to a TBR, but lately I've been having a rough time deciding on books, so I was like, maybe I'll try it this month, maybe it'll work. For the title on this page, I used one of the excess pieces from that first page, and I used my stamps again. I use a different, like my smaller stamps, to just put the title in, and I'm gluing that in there. And then for the dates in this calendar, I just decided to use the numbers that come in this Golden Hour monthly kit because I don't really foresee myself using them anywhere else, honestly, and they're already there, so I said, why not? It fits the color scheme and all that. And then I realized, okay, even though I meticulously measured this out, I still added an extra box. So I had a little sunflower sticker and used my white marker to cover up some of the mistakes because that's what we do. So these boxes off to the side with the rounded corners, the top one is going to be my books list, so it's just going to be like the color key and the list of all of the books that I end up reading for the month, and then the bottom one is going to be for my TBR. And if you want to see what these like monthly spreads look like when they're filled in, I do have a flip through video for the first half of 2023 that you can check out. All right, we're pulling off the stencil again. I am determined to add some of these little hexagons in because I did a theme similar to this in one of my bullet journals like 5 or 6 years ago. The little like hexagons and like bees and honey, and it took me so long to draw the little hexagons by hand, and I am just not that person anymore. Let me tell you, I don't have that kind of patience or time. So yeah, this stencil made it way easier. And then I decided, remember earlier when I was like, oh, I should put some hexagons on this cover page, and then I decided against it, and now I'm deciding that actually, yeah, I do want to do that. So that's it as far as decorative elements. Now I am just writing in when my library books are due so that I don't forget. And after I write them in, I decide to put a sticker over it because I don't know why, I just did. And then I'm adding a few books that I think that I want to read this month. The books that are on my TBR are Yellow Face by R.F. Kuang, Banyan Moon by Tao Tai, Writing Down the Bones by Natalie Goldberg, and The Legacy of Yang Chen by F.C. Yi. And I probably will add 2 or 3 more on there eventually, but that's what I have for now. So that's about all that I do for these monthly setups. I just have that cover page and then this reading tracker. I am really loving how everything came out. out. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you are looking for more journaling content or book journaling content or book content, make sure to subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thanks guys, hope you have a great September.